Greetings, friends. So I wanted to start a new segment on this channel that is devoted to keys to flight, meaning like all the different, as I go about my journey, things that have really helped me open up and expand my creation, bringing it into higher and higher forms. I want to talk about different elements of like what it means to practice, to create, to go about the day, and just the ritual of being that I find like essential to learning how to tap into this body consciousness creative flow, and really open up the creative flow. So I would like to start this with the flight code. This is something, or at least the style of journaling is something that's relatively new for me, probably like definitely within the past 6 months, and I find it like super valuable. I used to have a really difficult time like functioning in reality. There would be a lot of things that I just wouldn't do because I was so like absorbed in a space of like fantastical creation that it felt like a lot just kind of like slipped away from me, and I didn't do a lot of the things that I wanted to do, whether that be like reaching out to people or like just like tasks that are important for being upon earth. And I was so absorbed in creation that I kind of forgot and neglected myself a little bit, and the creation itself suffered. So what I've found is that like the space that I go into in creation is like a child, and the child, like if the child's just playing all the time and they don't have their parents there, they're going to die. And so this kind of journaling modality is a way to balance the play and the creative like experience and expression alongside being a human and doing the stuff that we need to do to facilitate unfolding creation. So that being said, this journal is one that I actually got from Burning Man. I was in like a really beautiful, I was part of an art installation called the Shrine of Sympathetic Resonance. That was a giant, essentially sound temple, really beautiful. You can check it out. But it's a sound temple constructed of like 50 plus piano harps that were then woven together to create this really ornate structure with a stage inside that everyone could play, and all the strings were tuned into resonant frequencies of the Schumann resonance, which is the tone that the earth emits when struck by lightning. As well, in a different octave, it's also the tone that cats purr at. So a lot of cool stuff going on there. There's a rabbit hole. But I got this journal while I was singing with somebody inside and just had this beautiful, just free flow. We were like strumming the strings and just like opening each other's voice. And one thing that I've really come to like value so deeply and immensely is music as means to play another, to call forth sound from other human beings, to call forth is like calling forth their gifts. And this experience, and really like the whole point of the Shrine of Sympathetic Resonance was, look, you strum a string here, it sounds beautiful, and all the strings together sound beautiful. You don't need to call yourself a musician to play this music. Everyone who comes here, who touches a string, who speaks and the string vibrates, is playing music. Like, we are innately sound makers. And so it's really to just open up and share, like, everyone is a musician in our essence. And I find I used to have like quite a bit of anxiety of like playing in front of people, and the more that I kind of dive into this craft and engage that space of where there's fear before, I find that that's like it's the point of music. It's calling being forth. And when we sing, especially, we reach into ourselves and create our sound, call forth our sound. We reach into the well of self and allow it to come out. And there's a girl there that I met named Minea, and she had this loop pedal, and she told me that her favorite part, like her favorite musical instrument was other people. She loved like being a space where other people could create. And so she had this loop pedal that was just like a very intuitive form of creating music. You speak something and then you press loop, and you speak something and then you press loop, and you speak something and then you press loop, and then it just goes over on itself. And she just like was a wizard of just like, here, like, you speak into the mic now. Okay, we got that. You speak in the mic. So similarly, and with that inspiration, I was singing, and this girl was like really, just like really passionate. And we both brought each other into this like elative state of just like, fuck yeah, with just like beaming eyes of like, so just like grateful and just stoked to be in this musical space together. And at the end of that experience, she gave me this journal. Thank you to whoever you are. This side I thought was cool as a scuba diver. This side was, it was an interesting collage that she had created. And it was like a dog looking at a clothesline with a bunch of like dresses. And it was fun for a while, and then I decided to change the tone and customize it, which I know she'd be stoked for. And when I customized it, I did this kind of like Gridley thing. And so that's kind of what I wanted to share, is what the grid is for me. And really, it's like, it's a space to organize thoughts. And this might not seem organized to you, but it's really organized to me. And it's a space where drawing can come it just looks like madness, but it's a space where drawing can come together to facilitate and give energy to things in the day that must be done, that I want to do. And so this is very much like facilitative, what does Jay need to do throughout this day orientation. And then the other side is just like total ability to free flow. There we go. And it's like the first page. And this space is, this side is just like dive into the well, like doesn't fucking matter. Like all hands off the wheel, let's do it. Both with writing as well as drawing, which are both dope. But yeah, I would say I've really been focused on this journal, like, and the one before it, on just facilitating myself a little bit more. And drawing in the past has been a space that I've really just like allowed myself to release into and tap into the fantasy space. And I feel like it's really cool to be able to like see line work and see creation as a means with which to, like, if I have a task or something, I will cradle it in like the aesthetic of line and give it life, give it energy, and allow myself to develop and cultivate a new focus into that space. The entire time that I'm in the realm of fantasy, I'm tapping into it as a means with which to give life to this physical act. And yeah, that's something that I didn't have for a very long time. That made things quite difficult. But it's just all part of the journey. And yeah, I guess it kind of, for me, it sheds light into the question, how do we dive like so deep into these other worlds while still like, while doing so in a way that gives life and embodies this one rather than takes me away to go to this other place. And that's really, like, I would say, foundation of how I've wanted to create for a long time, but has also been really difficult, which is like tapping into creation as a means with which to give life to here, and catalyze experience. And so I feel like this is a kind of like administrative, technical form of tapping into that space that has a lot of different emanations and has been really helpful. Yeah, cool. Sayonara, motherfuckers.